my language is Kannada, but I'm very, very happy to be here, and congratulations to the organizers of this wonderful conference on a very, very important topic, which is the role of libraries, public libraries in our society today. We had some very interesting panel discussions. We had some very interesting presentations, 5 presentations, and the theme of the panel is also very interesting. It's about the role of local self-governments, cooperatives, and public libraries together in strengthening knowledge networks in rural communities. I just wanted to speak a few words to share what we have done in Karnataka. Next slide, please. I feel that Karnataka's rural libraries in 2019, the libraries in Karnataka were all not with the Gram Panchayats. In 2019, a decision was taken to transfer the libraries, rural public libraries, to the Gram Panchayats of Karnataka. After 2019, during the COVID pandemic, Karnataka's rural libraries underwent a radical transformation, and it's my hypothesis that this is because of the Gram Panchayats. Very quickly, local governments in Karnataka, we had the legislation in the 80s. In 1993, after the Constitution Amendment, we now have nearly 6,000 village panchayats. We have around 239 taluk and 31 district panchayats. But the important thing is we have 95,000 elected local representatives, of whom 50% are women. Next. Yes, and during COVID, why is it important that this happened during COVID? During COVID, we had one of the longest school closures. Schools and colleges were closed, but panchayats did amazing work on COVID management in rural areas. I know that in Kerala also they did amazing work. They led the action, not only on science-based awareness, but also on effective COVID management, on institutional quarantine, on managing the issues of migrants, difficulties of migrants, and thereafter, first wave, second wave, and even COVID vaccination. Therefore, next slide, please. Therefore, when the rural body elections happened in Karnataka in December 2020, we immediately started the training within 45 days. In 2021, we had 300 locations of training, and we had 5 days of training for each of the panchayats. It was in hybrid mode, and the theme, 2 major themes during 2021, all this was during the COVID pandemic, 2 major themes of the training was on rural libraries and solid waste management. We wanted to give a very action-oriented training, not a theoretical training. We wanted to tell them, here are 2 things that are big challenges. One, right now the schools are closed, the colleges are closed. What can you do for children using your rural libraries? That is one. Secondly, solid waste management. In urban areas, we are facing huge challenges. What can we do to recognize these challenges in rural areas? Next slide. Why the rural libraries? I just spoke about it. Long school and college closures, libraries had been transferred. In many places, we found that teachers were actually conducting experiments, going to the children in villages, even when schools were closed, and conducting neighborhood learning centers. So we felt that when there is so much volunteerism among the teachers, certainly we can leverage this and use this library space in order to create a learning space for children. Next. So this is some history about Karnataka's libraries. Basically, we had a legislation in 1965, which of course was the work of Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, like he did this work in many, many states. 5,623 libraries were transferred to the RDPR department, to the panchayats. This transfer, and it's my hypothesis that this transfer led to what was above, that is a before picture, and the below is an after picture. The picture is not only about painting and murals, it's about bringing children and bringing users into the libraries and revitalizing the libraries completely. Next. So of course, I won't go into this. A lot of enabling orders. This is the role of government. I feel that panchayats, local self-governments can perform tremendously well and show local leadership if we enable them with certain enabling orders. This is what we did. We said, why don't you have some digital infrastructure? We gave them some specifications. We suggested that you can do this. We enhanced the working hours of the librarians. Earlier, it was only 4 hours. We enhanced it during COVID. Because of the response of the local bodies, we were able to, no other department increased the remuneration during COVID. No other department in the state, and no other department was able to enhance the working hours. But libraries enhanced their working hours because the library was becoming a sanctuary for the children. Next. So a lot of activities, multi-stakeholder engagements. I think one of the panelists already spoke. Local self-governments, 95,000 members, 80,000 staff, 6,000 panchayats. Along with that, NGOs, civil society organizations working on the ground. And over the last 2 years, my colleague from Karnataka had said 16 lakh children. I'm happy to say that over the last 2 years, we have crossed 25 lakh children enrolled free of cost as members in the rural libraries, just during COVID. So this shows, this is not something that can be achieved only by officials, by pushing. This shows that the children wanted to come and the local governments enabled that. And this is the success of what a locally driven, LSG-driven, panchayat-driven library program can do. Next. Of course, these are the enabling orders. A lot of things were issued. Next. We made it possible for panchayats to use their finance commission grants, their own sources of revenue, their no money was asked for from the department, from the finance department. All enabling orders allowing panchayats to take decisions on their own, to design the panchayat library in the way they wanted. Next. And so these were the programs. This is how. This is not something that can happen through officials. This can happen only through community participation. When we said we will have a program to revitalize the libraries, how did they conceive of it? They said we will all sit together in a circle and we will light these lamps and we will put some flowers. This happened everywhere in different ways. So when we enable people to think of what I'm trying to say is that I urge you to think that when we issue orders, we should issue orders which enable and empower. We should issue guidelines which enable and empower people to use their local imagination of what a library should look like. Next. This was in November. We were at 2.3 million children. I presented this, sir, at London School of Economics when I had gone to London. But now we are at 2.5 million. We have enrolled 2.5 million children, and they're coming to the libraries, they're getting the library card, but most importantly, they are able to read. Reading is important. Picture books, books that they like. Next. Of course, we also collected. We wanted to make it a community movement. It's not that only government should buy the books or panchayat should buy the books. Every person who has read a book, who wants to donate a book, can donate one book to the library. We made that possible. Next. So these were the kind of donations that took place. Next. We also had activities. So the library needs to be a place where people come, the community comes, the child comes, adults come, and a socially inclusive space where new forms of association are possible. So we had programs of chess in libraries. Next. We had a program called Reading with My Mother. One of our champion librarians, there are 3 of our champion librarians here. This program was designed by one of our librarians, Savitri from Dakshina Kannada. Next, Reading with My Mother. For children who are first generation learners, who have not maybe had books in their homes, taking a book home and reading it with their mother. If their mother can read, then reading it with the mother. If the mother can't read, then reading it to the mother. Think of the power of this. We have 45 lakh active Narega job card holders in Karnataka. If we are able to enroll 25 lakh children, many of those are children of Narega workers. Books are going into the houses of children who do not have otherwise any access to books. This is how we reach literacy and reading into the homes. Next. We also had programs, every month a different program, basically designed at enticing children to come to the libraries, but not alone. Come with your friend, come with your mother, come with your grandfather, come with whoever, but come together. Next. So this is how the libraries were reconceptualizing their spaces. I want to think of something that we learned when we were all in training in the IS Academy in Mussoorie. We used to wonder why there are poor solutions for the poor. Robert Chambers and others have written about this. Here is something where no panchayat is offering a poor solution. Nobody is saying, why should we paint a mural? It's a wasteful expenditure. They are saying, we will paint murals. We will paint murals. We will put up pictures. Next, we will have child-friendly, child-sized sofas and bean bags. So what I'm trying to say is that even the nature of the public space was reconceptualized. You will never find in many government orders when we are issuing, for very valid reasons, for reasons of economy and thrift and austerity and so on, we will not issue saying that you put a sofa, you put this, you put that. But panchayats were able to do it, saying that our children also need beanbags. Our children also need sofas, indoor plants. This I thought was very beautiful. Curtains, colorful curtains on the wall. Next. And motivational words. All this comes from a certain science also. I mean, it comes from logic that children who have certain social and cultural deficits require these to motivate them. And this can motivate entire communities and generations. Next. So these are just some of the pictures. Many pictures like this. I won't go into it. But wanted to also share that some panchayats did more. When we were able to extend the working hours to 6 hours, some of the panchayats said our children want to study for more. So we will let the library be closed, but we will set up a terrace. In the terrace, they can study further, even after the library is closed. Some panchayats set up a garden library. So different kinds of ways in which they reconceptualized. It's still going on. We would welcome you to come and visit Karnataka and guide us, because I know that Kerala has a long history. I've been taking many pictures of some of the slides, today's presentations, and I look forward to learning more about this. But thank you once again for the opportunity to present some of our work. Thank you.